Buonasera, noi siamo Obiettivo Lingua, io sono Caterina e con me ci sono le colleghe Paola
Buonasera.
e la collega Linda.
Buonasera.
Come dicevo, appunto, il webinar viene registrato, questo consentirà poi anche di condividerlo a tutti i partecipanti, verrà inviata automaticamente da noi nei prossimi giorni la registrazione, quindi se ci sono parenti, amici, figli, genitori che hanno voglia poi di rivederlo, hanno la possibilità di farlo. Allora, noi come sapete siamo Obiettivo Lingua, questa sera vi parleremo di due grandi città del Canada, Toronto e Victoria, e cercheremo come sempre il più possibile di parlare poco noi e lasciare invece molto spazio ai colleghi che sono collegati direttamente appunto da Toronto e da Saanich vicino a Victoria e a cui avete la possibilità poi di porre tutte le domande che vorrete. Ci presentiamo brevemente. Vai. Ok, allora la nostra agenzia si occupa da 25 anni di mobilità all'estero, noi ci troviamo a Spinea, in provincia di Venezia. Come vedete quello che noi offriamo è una formazione continua, noi diciamo from the cradle to the grave perché cominciamo già con i programmi famiglia, con bambini piccoli per poi proseguire con i professionisti, l'high school, fino veramente anche all'oltre, ecco gli adulti e oltre. Come vedete abbiamo messo il cuoricino sull'high school perché nello specifico è il programma di cui noi tre ci occupiamo. Perché ci piace particolarmente l'high school? Ci piace particolarmente perché è un'esperienza che si vive una sola volta nella vita. Soggiorni studio, magari con noi o viaggi di turismo ne potrete fare molti, ma l'high school è un treno che passa una volta sola. Per questa ragione ci piace insomma poter offrire ai ragazzi che decidono di partire con noi e alle loro famiglie, ai loro genitori l'esperienza migliore possibile e andremo a costruire proprio insieme a voi questo percorso. La foto che vedete è una foto vera, tra l'altro, questa è una delle nostre ragazze che è stata via l'anno scorso proprio in Canada. E è un'esperienza unica e indimenticabile, quindi i ragazzi appunto non vanno a fare turismo, ma si ritrovano a vivere una nuova scuola, una nuova famiglia, una nuova quotidianità in una lingua straniera. Non va considerata quindi una semplice esperienza all'estero, ma è davvero un'esperienza di crescita, un'esperienza di vita a 360 gradi. Allora, stasera parliamo del Canada, che è una meta che a noi piace particolarmente. Perché ci piace particolarmente? Beh, inutile che vi dica, insomma, i bellissimi paesaggi, le bellissime città. Ci sono però altre ragioni per cui proprio siamo contenti quando possiamo mandare dei ragazzi in Canada. Anzitutto il fatto che abbiamo la possibilità di avere un contatto diretto con i nostri partner esteri, quindi noi collaboriamo direttamente con i distretti scolastici e con le scuole e gli studenti hanno la possibilità di scegliere esattamente dove andare. Conosciamo anche personalmente poi i colleghi che si occupano dei ragazzi sul posto. Questo significa che se c'è qualcosa da aggiustare, davvero io posso alzare il telefono e ho la garanzia che dall'altra parte il mio collega mi dica: ah sì, guarda, sono a conoscenza di questa cosa di Chiara perché l'ho vista questa mattina che giocava a pallavolo. Quindi è veramente una tranquillità anche per le famiglie sapere che i ragazzi sono in buone mani. Con i colleghi poi appunto capita davvero di vederci, di incontrarci spesso, ecco, anche qui in Italia o in giro per il mondo. E un'altra delle ragioni per cui riteniamo che il Canada sia un'ottima destinazione per i nostri ragazzi è la facilità di ingresso. Allora, per i soggiorni inferiori ai 6 mesi, quindi per i ragazzi che partono per un trimestre o un semestre, non è necessario partire con il visto, basta avere il modulo ETA, che è un'autorizzazione all'ingresso che si fa tranquillamente online, molto economica, molto semplice. Per i soggiorni più lunghi è invece richiesto il visto di study permit. In ogni caso, sia che decidiate di fare 3, 6 o un anno, non vi preoccupate perché Obiettivo Lingua vi seguirà in tutte le fasi, quindi vi daremo delle indicazioni precise sulla documentazione necessaria. Poi allora il Canada è una destinazione che offre delle scuole pubbliche veramente di ottima qualità. Questo perché il Canada come paese investe anche molto veramente nell'istruzione e diciamo che è una tipologia di scuola già con uno sguardo al futuro, ok? Allora già assomiglia un pochino a un'organizzazione simile al mondo universitario che tra non molto tempo, insomma, i ragazzi si troveranno ad affrontare. Quindi diciamo che la maggior parte delle scuole con le quali collaboriamo utilizza il sistema semestrale. Questo implica che si studiano 4 o 5 materie nel primo semestre e 4 o 5 materie nel secondo semestre. Un po' davvero come all'università, quindi i ragazzi avranno anche la possibilità di scegliere le materie che preferiscono, quelle che ritengono più utili. Le materie inoltre sono, diciamo, sempre cercano di conciliare veramente l'aspetto teorico con quello pratico. I colleghi canadesi lo chiamano hands-on, quindi diciamo le scuole canadesi offrono degli laboratori veramente molto molto all'avanguardia e non so se studio chimica, ci è capitato ragazzi che magari sono partiti senza sapere bene cosa volessero fare in futuro e poi ci hanno detto guarda sono rimasto così affascinato da la chimica studiata nei laboratori canadesi che ho deciso di iscrivermi a chimica. Stessa cosa, insomma, per quelle che sono le materie STEM oppure le materie, diciamo, pratiche, come può essere il design. Veramente le scuole canadesi ci danno questa possibilità di mettere in pratica le conoscenze che apprendiamo in classe. Detto questo, lascio la parola a Paola che introduce i nostri colleghi.
Eccoci, allora, come Caterina vi ha accennato, oggi vogliamo che sia un webinar, ecco, un incontro in cui possono parlarvi direttamente i nostri corrispondenti. Noi ovviamente cerchiamo di mediare, per cui se avete delle domande, insomma, cerchiamo un po' di tradurre dove c'è bisogno. Comunque, chi conoscerete oggi? Conoscerete Colin, il nostro collega del distretto di Saanich, nell'area metropolitana di Victoria, e Santiago Sanchez e i suoi colleghi per quanto riguarda la scuola internazionale ILAC di Toronto. Inizierei con dirvi due parole in italiano, ecco, giusto per contestualizzare Saanich, dove siamo. Quindi Victoria è la capitale, questa città appunto nella parte inferiore della cartina che vedete, è la capitale della provincia del British Columbia. Mentre gli Stati Uniti sono suddivisi in stati, il Canada è suddiviso in province. Quindi Victoria è città molto bella, ce l'abbiamo là, ok? Quindi il distretto di Saanich da chi viene preferito? Da quei ragazzi che desiderano sapere di avere una città lì, vicina. So che non scappa, ok? So che non sono in mezzo ai boschi, non sono isolato, ho una città di riferimento molto importante, molto molto vicina, però vogliono magari vivere in un'area un pochino più residenziale, un pochino più coccola, comunque molto molto fornita di servizi. C'è tutto quello che può servire a un ragazzo di 16 anni. E è un'area residenziale molto bella, e io ci sono stata, hanno dei giardini, Butcher's Gardens, che sono una cosa veramente magnifica, ma non lo diciamo solo noi che è bella, vi diamo un piccolo momento gossip. L'area North Saanich è un'area scelta anche dal principe Harry e Meghan proprio per fare le vacanze, quindi insomma se lo scelgono loro con tutte le opzioni che hanno, insomma ci conferma che è un bel posto e chissà mai, ecco, che magari per strada riusciate a incontrarli. C'è chi ci dice, ecco, il nostro collega da Saanich ci ha detto che insomma già sono stati avvistati. Comunque venendo a noi, allora che opportunità ci offre Saanich School District? Quindi possiamo aspettarci di essere in un'area estesa di circa 100.000 abitanti, quindi insomma non è un'area piccolina. Possiamo esprimere una preferenza tra le 3 scuole del distretto. Ecco, le 3 scuole possono avere delle varianti da un punto di vista di materie, quindi insomma poi noi vi guidiamo. Da Victoria parte il traghetto per andare a Vancouver, quindi insomma per chi anche vuole, scusate, vuole visitare Vancouver di sicuro succederà, e appunto abbiamo il vantaggio di avere la città vicina, però essere in una zona residenziale molto bella, molto tranquilla, ma non noiosa, ecco, quindi questo è importante. Quindi lascerei la parola ora al collega Colin. Colin, if you want to share your presentation and let us know a little bit more about Saanich.
Certainly. All right. You see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on today. And I just wanted to extend a nice welcome to Zoe, who I see is on and joined us, who will be attending Saanich next year, our future veterinarian, I believe. So thanks for coming, Zoe. And again, my name is Colin. Perfect. I'm the senior manager here in Saanich. I'm just gonna make sure my screen is shared properly. Can you still see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So Saanich Schools,
No,
I represent
Colin,
Oh, did
we
it go away?
see the list of your files, but not the
Oh, we
presentation.
don't want that.
Yes.
Okay, okay, there we go. That's better. Let's try again. That's the one. Is that okay now?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so Saanich Schools, we are, like you were saying, we're a smaller school district on the steps of Victoria, the capital of British Columbia in Canada. And we have a population of about 110,000 people. We're actually a bigger city than our capital. This whole area has 13 different municipalities, and Saanich is the largest. So our 3 high schools are in a metropolitan, a rural area, and a small town, all within a maximum of 30 to 40 minutes from the city center of Victoria. So it's a beautiful location, certainly sought after by people from around the world, Canadians. There's lots of ecotourism here. And it's we're also members of Education Greater Victoria, consortium of school districts, language schools, and post-secondary institutions, colleges and universities. So it's definitely a place where international students come to study at all different levels of our sector. You can see quickly before I get into the schools here, you can see this small chart, but and graph. It's a summary of our weather, our mild weather here. It's a point that all of my colleagues in every level like to point out when we do our presentations, but our area has one of the mildest climates in Canada. So in November now, in the start of our winter, we see primarily rain and wind, gray skies, not very much white. We'll get a week or 2 of snow that's very wet during the school year. And I think that draws a lot of students from warmer places to our area of Canada. So you still get to experience it, but I wouldn't expect it on a daily basis when you come to Victoria. We're an English-speaking community. When you come to Victoria, we're very much, I'd say 98% in our community is English speaking. You will hear a little bit of French, and French is offered in our schools as a bilingual country. But as you come to Victoria, you can expect an English environment. It's known as a safe city, and certainly also the Garden City, we've been called because of our greenery. And we have an advantage in Saanich as well is the rural living. So we are on what's called the Saanich Peninsula, that peninsula of land that you saw in the map. And we have a school, Stellies, that is surrounded by agricultural land, stables, but you're still within 20 minutes of the city center. So a very diverse area for you to live in. We have our own internally run homestay program. So you have to basically have a custodian, myself, or our homestay manager, Ernestine, and you live with a family provided by Saanich. So that's your kind of outside of school life. And then within the school system, we have dozens of elective courses to choose from. Of course, our academic classes and some modern school facilities across our 3 secondary schools. And I think that's what I'm going to focus on primarily is our 3 schools, because I think you as students and families will do your research on your location, and then finally you'll dive into the actual school you want to go to if you're doing the high school programs in Canada. So all of our high schools, starting with Claremont, are grade 9 to 12. most of our Italian students are coming in grade 11 and 12, the upper or the senior grades, as we call them. Claremont has 1,100 students. It's where I attended school when I was back in high school. Certainly a little bit of my favorite because of that. And it's a large, loud, bustling school. It has several sports academies, aquatics, lacrosse, golf, and rowing, and the focus on fine arts academy if you are more artistic as well. The big windows there you can see are the backs of our Ridge Theater in the school, which seats about 350 students. And then in each school, we also we have our ELL program where in semester 1 or 2, if you have a beginner or intermediate level of English, you are able to take an ELL class as one of your 4 subjects. So semester-based system, you can sign up in semester 1, which is September to January, or semester 2, which is February to June. Of course, we prefer the full year students who come from September through to June. That's certainly possible. And there have been Italian students who have completed the BC graduation diploma in 1 year. So we are able to entertain that. If there are specific questions about that, maybe I'll take them at the end. Here's some pictures of our lovely school, Claremont, our athletic director in the Spartans gym, and pictures from a pep rally, the golf team, the rowing team, and our Institute for Global Solutions, which is a combination course of science and social studies in the grade 10, 11, and 12 grades. Parkland Secondary School is home of our international program. It's where I'm sitting right now. It's, I believe, where Zoe will attend. And it is the International Baccalaureate School that we offer. So it is the only IB school on Vancouver Island in a public school. We have about 40 students in that annually. And we have had an Italian complete the diploma program. It is a 2-year diploma program. If you're familiar with IB. The other offerings at Parkland, we have the ELL, and then what's unique is also our marine programs. So if you look in that picture there, you can see beyond the flag and the tree, maybe some masts of some sailboats in the harbor directly across the street from our school. And I think there's about 10 marinas right in Seaham Harbor. And we partner with the Sydney Saanich Yacht Club to offer a sailing academy, some boat restoration program through our woodwork shop, and also the marine biology is offered at Parkland because of our proximity to the beach and the ocean. So some very neat, unique marine opportunities in Parkland. With this, beyond sailing, we have judo in the school, an actual studio for that, and an ice hockey academy, which trains nearby. A semester-based school as well, semester 1 and 2. So you can expect to have Parkland about 500 to 550 students a year. About 80 of them are international from about 20 different countries. So a smaller school, it's in Sydney, which is where I live, a smaller town of about 12,000 people, right beside the airport, small airport, so it's not too loud. And you are able to transport into the city center of Victoria within a 30 or 40-minute public bus ride. So here's some pictures from our sailing academy, our gym, some of our previous students out on the boardwalk out in front of Sydney, and our judo academy here. Our third school is Stelly Secondary School. This is the rural school I was referring to. It's our second largest with 900 students, and has it's really known for its climbing academy. It has a huge, you can see it here in the pictures, climbing gym. It's about 4 stories high. These are massive bay doors that open and close for the hot or cold weather. And the climbing academy has students from, gosh, we've had Swiss, Austrians, Germans, Japanese, Italian, French. Every year we have a wide variety of students that join that climbing academy. It's available in semester 1 and in semester 2, or as a full year program for students who are really interested in climbing. Even if you're not into climbing, I think the climbing facility touches every student in the school, whether through their 4 years of high school. In the physical education, there's usually a unit from each teacher completed at some point across the 4 years. And if you want to climb after school, there is a nonprofit society called Boulders, and you can join, and it's like buying a bus pass. You just can come in and have a partner and away you go. So that's right within the school facility. It's also known, Stellies, for its culinary arts program. You can see some previous international students here. We have a Red Seal program where graduates can go on to the workforce right out of high school. It's also known as our French immersion school. And like I said, sorry, I didn't mention it, but digital media and graphic design is a big program that we offer. They're even doing, I think, a filmmaking class in digital media this year. So some pretty unique offerings at Stellies as well. Here's a little bit more information about our homestay program. Sorry, I just wanted to back up really quick. On your applications, as you research the 3 schools in Saanich, and if it is Saanich that you choose, there will be a question where you're asked to rank the 3. So your first choice, second choice, and third choice. Please always put down 3. The sooner you get your application in, the better chance I have of getting you into your first choice. And a second choice is always nice to have, should I need to put you into your second choice. Our homestay program is long-standing. We've had it since the inception of Saanich's international program back in 2001. We have over 200 caring host families, all run by our homestay coordinators. We have 3. They provide and recruit the families to you. And then we ask a series of questions on your application about what you want to see in a homestay. And then we take on that role of matching you profile to profile with your host family. So for Zoe, that process will start in, she's a September student coming up in 25. That process will start in May. And by the end of June, she'll have her profile provided through to Paula and the team, and have a good 2 to 3 months to communicate with the family prior to arrival. You can see on the screen the amenities provided, very, very common across the internally run homestay programs in British Columbia. We also offer the free pickup and drop off at what should be called the Saanich International Airport, because it is within Saanich and steps from our schools. And the staff, of course, we have 3 homestay coordinators: Kristen at Claremont, Erica at Parkland, and Kim at Stellies. Ernestine is our homestay manager, and Ernestine's a former teacher from the Netherlands. And the 3 ladies are all educational assistants prior to their time in our homestay program. So an educational assistant, for those not familiar, is kind of like a teacher's helper in the classroom for students with special needs or designations, is what we call them in our school system in British Columbia. So they're all very well trained in conflict resolution and supporting students, and it's parlayed into their homestay roles very nicely. We have outstanding academics here in Saanich. It's of the 3 school districts in the Victoria area, I would say we have probably the highest graduation rate of international students going on to North American universities. We partner with the University of Victoria, Royal Roads University in our area with tours for grade 12 students, should they be interested. And I mentioned the ELL courses are available every semester. So if you had a grade 12, or you are in grade 12 thinking about it, and maybe you get here and you're going to do that 1-year grad, and then, no, I really like it, I want to stay in Canada. We do have our international advisors in each school. There's a team of 4 that are able to support you in your applications towards post-secondary within North America. They'll help you with that. And finally, our activities program. We have, like I said, I was saying earlier, I just got back this last night late from our Vancouver trip. Each month we take exclusively the international programs to multiple locations in British Columbia and Alberta. We even went into Seattle this year. So I'm going to go through these quickly. There's basically pictures of all of our trips. This is where we were yesterday, Tuesday night, actually, Vancouver Canucks game. They lost, unfortunately, to the New York Rangers. There is whale watching right out of the Inner Harbor in Victoria. So this year we went and saw some orcas swimming right beside our boat, gray whales, sea lions. The Capilano Suspension Bridge is a very popular tourist destination. We do that on our Vancouver trip. We have a school dance. That's actually next week. Very busy time for us here in the office right now, getting ready for that. Next Wednesday at Stelli's. And we take a trip to the Rocky Mountains, about a 4-day trip where students are able to get on the bus and drive basically from Victoria all the way to Banff, Alberta, Lake Louise. This is a picture from the top of the gondola in Banff, and a picture from the last spike, which is in Revelstoke, where the Canadian Pacific Railroad was completed many years ago. We head out to the coast as well. These are the beaches of the west coast of Vancouver Island. It's a place called Tofino, British Columbia. Very popular trip in May each year, where we do surfing and we do bear watching when we're there. In the wintertime, you do get to see the snow. We head up to Whistler Blackcomb. That trip is coming up this December 4th to 6th. We do a 2-night stay there. And that was, of course, home of the 2010 Winter Olympics in Whistler and Vancouver. So those are the kind of the offerings we have as a program. This is our intake, or our class of new students from this past September. About 220 students in that picture in front of the Royal BC Museum in downtown Victoria, just steps from the Parliament buildings. So this could be you on the steps of our beautiful city next year, and certainly will be Zoe when she comes and joins us. So if you have any questions, I'm not sure, Paula, are we taking them now, or do you want me to?
No, I mean, both. I will start with some questions that might be helpful with for the students, and then if you can stay with us or if you have to leave, I'll tell everybody to ask you the questions now.
Sure.
Okay. If you want to unshare the presentation, we go back to ours. Okay, for example, talking about sports, Colin, you told us that climbing is big in Stelly, but how does it work with sports? What are the sports that you find international students are really like, and how are they organized in seasons? Because in Italy we play basketball or football or volleyball, but in school it doesn't change season to season. So a student who hasn't got a specific sport passion, what could expect from enrolling in Saanich?
So in high school, there are seasonal sports. We have the fall sports, winter sports, and spring sports. I guess we don't go to school in the summer. So the seasons are broken down in our brochure. And what you can expect as an international student is there'll be announcements even within the first week of school asking you to come out and try out or join the volleyball team or the basketball team, or for us in Saanich, another big one is rowing. Victoria is was home of the National Rowing Center for our Canadian national rowing team. And we have rowing teams in all 3 schools. It's not a provincial sport. So a student from 4 months up to a year can participate in that in all competitions. And then in the winter, you would have tryout calls for basketball. Female soccer starts in semester 2, male soccer's in semester 1. And these are all teams that are attached to the school. So you're representing the Parkland Panthers, the Claremont Spartans, or the Stelly Stingers. And you have a teacher sponsor, basically, who's your coach. And you're playing against other schools. And each season is quite short, about 2 to 3 months, the longest being the basketball season. And then if you're passionate about a sport, most Canadian kids will also participate in private clubs outside of the school system in their chosen sport. But the idea in the school system is that you are able to try as many of those sports as you can or want within your schedule. So we want you to be exploring, and it's great for international students because you can try out, and there's even intramural clubs. You don't have to play on the team. You can do it at lunchtime because our athletic departments organize games and even as less popular sports like badminton, and indoor soccer, and sometimes even handball. We get a lot of requests for that out of Europe, but we don't really have it here in our area. So that's kind of how it works. You have to be paying attention to the announcements and your Google Classroom. You can always ask your advisors in the school. And if you had a specific sport you wanted to continue or really wanted to do when you were abroad in Saanich or wherever it is, certainly we can help find a potential club for that in our community. For example, triathletes triathlons are a huge sport in Victoria. Many of our national athletes come here to train at our triathlon facility in Victoria.
Great. Quindi ragazzi, brevemente, ecco, lo sport è una parte molto importante dell'esperienza perché vi permette di sperimentare, di fare amicizia e ecco, come Colin diceva, ci saranno queste chiamate a provare gli sport. Quindi insomma il nostro consiglio è buttatevi e poi ovviamente insomma se avete invece uno sport specifico di vostro interesse ce lo dite prima e potete ecco, provarlo all'interno della scuola o anche all'esterno tramite i club locali. Quindi ecco, una cosa che in Canada assolutamente non manca è lo sport tutto l'anno molto vario, quindi non mancherà e buttatevi e provate perché di sicuro vale la pena. Thank you, Connie. Let's try with another question that we are always asked regarding subjects. Am I allowed to ask for my preferred subjects at time of enrollment? And what happens in case I arrive there, I start my subject and I find out that actually I don't like it, or it's too difficult or too easy for me?
So this is it's a difficult question to answer. Actually, it's a common one, and I'm sure one that all of you are thinking about. So in Saanich, we have on our application form what we call a course request form, and it asks you to fill it in for one semester. If you're a one semester student, you fill in, there's 4 blank lines. You review our course guide online. It's on page 2 of the course request form. And each day in all 3 of our schools, you get 4 classes. So you request the ones that you want, or the ones that you require, perhaps, from your school in Italy. And you write required beside those ones. If you're a full year student, you would put down 8 classes because you're here for 2 semesters. And it's called a request form. So we cannot guarantee classes. It varies every year based on the amount of requests from Canadian kids, from international kids, from the amount of staff we're able to have in schools. So for you, I recommend always filling in all 4 of those boxes, all 8 of those boxes, and the alternative classes. We ask for a couple of extras in case we can't get you those. So it gets confused as a selection form versus a request form. And I want to be very clear that it's a request form. Now, when you arrive, you receive your course schedule that is usually 3 of 4 or 4 of 4 classes that you requested, or 8 of 8. And you get it at orientation. So you won't see it until you get here. Now, when you go into your first week, you may go, wow, this Calculus 12 class is a little harder than I thought. And I want to go back to pre-Calculus 12. So that is when you would meet with an educational advisor or an international advisor at our schools. We have 2, and you can make the request to make a course change. We can never guarantee that it'll happen because our course timetables are so tight at our high schools now. But you certainly have the option of asking, but don't get your hopes up, because so that's where my emphasis is. Do your research on our curriculums. Our math curriculums are all listed on, especially math and English, they're all listed on our course request form. There's even a checkbox for you to tick off that you read the curriculums from our Ministry of Education for math specifically. Every school has a course guide, and you can read through it and then make your selection. So take your time. We will have space for you. We're not anywhere near full, and we're not going to be until probably May this year. So lots of time to sign up, but take your time on that and make those requests, as best you can. But there is a chance that you can make that change once you're at school here on the first or second week. By September 15th, we kind of lock down the schedule, and then there's no more changing, just because you'll get too far behind in your class by that time.
Ok, quindi ecco ragazzi, al momento dell'iscrizione potete dare una lista di preferenze di materie, Saanich viene richiesto, e Colin invitava a fare a informarsi bene, ecco, su cosa significano le materie, quali sono gli eventuali requisiti, perché soprattutto, insomma, anche nel caso di matematica può capitare che io mi sento bravo in matematica, richiedo calcolo 12 e dopo magari mi trovo, ecco, che è troppo difficile, e quindi magari faccio una richiesta di passare al corso di precalcolo 12. In questo caso vengo affiancato in loco da un advisor, insomma un tutor in loco, che mi aiuta a capire se questo spostamento è possibile. Colin diceva: fate le vostre ricerche prima, così mi capite bene, ecco, anche come contenuti, proprio perché dopo il 15 di settembre si chiude tutto, perché se no, ecco, se si fanno cambi di materie, poi si rischia di essere troppo in ritardo con il curriculum. Però, ecco, devo dire, insomma, che i nostri ragazzi sono sempre molto bravi, è raro che ci dicano, se non a volte con matematica, in effetti capita, è troppo difficile, insomma, non capisco niente, ce la fanno e sono sempre molto contenti. Però, appunto, dove è possibile, come in questo caso, informarsi sulle materie, con Saanich è possibile, direi che vale la pena spendere 2 minuti in più di ricerca. Thank you, Colin. Next slide. Ora, se avete qualche domanda, vi invitiamo a farla. Potete fare anche le domande in italiano, in chat oppure dal vivo, senza nessun problema. Colin, do you have to rush, or do you have time to stay with us until
Well,
the
I
end?
can stay. I don't mind. I'll just
Okay.
put it on mute and
Okay,
wait till the end,
because
if you're okay with
sometimes
that.
we have questions at the end of the presentation. Ok, so in caso, ecco, potete pensarci e mi fate le domande per Colin più tardi, nessun problema. Ora passiamo a parlare andiamo a Toronto, quindi in Ontario, e parliamo di ILAC, International High School. In questo caso è una scuola situata nel cuore di Toronto, quindi chi cerca un'esperienza veramente metropolitana è nel posto giusto. È un ambiente 100% international, quindi prepariamoci a fare amicizia con ragazzi da tutto il mondo, e diciamo spesso anche ai genitori: preparatevi, perché quando i vostri figli fanno amicizia con un brasiliano, con un tedesco, con un giapponese, poi si comincia, ecco, le vacanze estive non sono più a Jesolo, ma sono anche oltreoceano. In questo caso si parla in inglese, la didattica è inglese, la famiglia parlerà in inglese e un punto forte di ILAC è anche qualora i ragazzi si volessero diplomare e poi rimanere, iscriversi all'università in Canada, c'è proprio un percorso personalizzato che permette questo. Ne parliamo con Ben. Ben?
Hey,
Hi
good
there.
afternoon, everybody.
Good
So I'm just
afternoon.
gonna go ahead and share my screen, share my
Yes,
presentation.
please.
1 second. Okay, can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
It works? Or is, here, 1 second. I think it's just the, are you guys seeing the presenter view or the presentation itself?
I'm not sure. Actually, I see the slide.
We
like
see,
program-
we see the presenter view,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 second. Share. Okay, there we go. Okay, guys, so good afternoon. My name's Ben Stutzman. I'm the program coordinator here at ILAC International High School, and my responsibilities include scheduling. I'm the first point of contact for teachers on campus, and I also help to develop the learning management system as well. So ILAC International High School is something very near and dear to my heart, so it's an absolute pleasure to talk about it with you guys. So yeah, we're located in Toronto, one of the most multicultural cities in the world. And what we'll be discussing today is first a little bit about ILAC International High School, the location, the term structure, the enrollment and programs that we have. What can you expect as a student when you're in the classroom? What kind of pathway guidance do we have and course selection process do we have for students so that you get a tailored experience? And then what are the extracurriculars that students can expect? So just to get a good perspective of ILAC and what we value, I just want to start with what our mission statement is. So our priority is to change lives through education, create opportunities for our students to achieve their dreams. This is our ultimate goal. And then our values are we listen, we deliver, we work together, we find solutions, we value diversity, and most important, and if you can't tell by my monotone voice, we have fun. So where are we located? We are located about 2 minutes away from Yonge and Bloor Station. And for those who aren't familiar with downtown Toronto, it really is within the heart of the city. It's one of the most busy stations in downtown Toronto. So it's really bustling, really urban, and you can expect a lot of the city amenities associated with such an urban environment. And what does our academic year look like? So we have 5 terms per year. We have one in early September, mid-November, early February, mid-April, and then July. And then you can expect this to remain the same regardless of the academic year. So this is a look at 2025 to 2026, if you're looking out that far, which I know some of our students will be when they're enrolling. Where can you expect to be placed? So your placement is based on the previous grade that you achieved. Ontario uses a credit system, so you'll be awarded that many credits that correspond to your grade. So if I'm a student that has recently completed grade 11, I'm going to be receiving 23 credits, and then I'll be completing 7 credits in order to graduate with an Ontario secondary school diploma. Now, not all of our students are interested in receiving that diploma, and they want specific courses that suit their education goals. So this is not going to be important for all students, but for anybody who wants to attend post-secondary in Canada that we support students with. And of course, course selection is going to be, you're going to be working directly with a guidance counselor so that you have the preferred courses that you need to achieve your career and education goals. What does the class schedule look like? So from 9:15 to 10:45, you have the first period for your first class. Then you have a 15-minute break. Then you have 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the second part of the first course. Then you have an hour-long lunch, and then the second course. So during a term, you have 2 courses. So that means that in one term, you're going to be achieving 2 credits. And what kind of programs can you enroll in at ILAC International High School? These are some of the buckets that our students have gone to, and this kind of helps them select the electives that they want. So we have a science specialization, full STEM specialization. We have lots of, right now we're currently running an economics class and business classes, so business and finance specialization. Business administration, social sciences and humanities, engineering, and also math and computer science specialization. So all that is to say that there is a lot of selection for students when they're arriving to our school. They can pick the specialization that they need to suit their desired education outcomes. And to further clarify that, there's one-on-one meetings with pathway specialists on site available for students. So they meet with the pathway specialist early when they arrive, and they give guidance to that student. We help identify the programs that they want to apply to within Canada. If it's not within Canada, they provide the course selection that they want, that their home country school will recognize back in their home country. So yes, this is a tailored course selection for students. And we also assist with post-secondary submission support. So we help you apply to universities and colleges as well. We also have premier institutions coming on site, such as the University of Toronto, as well as the Metropolitan University. They come on site, they give presentations, and students are able to ask people from admissions at those universities detailed questions.
Ben, excuse me if I ask you this, because it's easier if you explain to students the specializations you were speaking in the previous slide. Is this only for students staying for the full year asking for graduation, or this is something open also for those staying, for example, one semester?
So it would be more so for students that are staying for graduation, and then we can recognize the specialization. But if you have a student that's staying for just a year or wants a couple courses, they're allowed to pick the specific courses that best suit their education outcomes. So while the specialization is for students graduating, it doesn't mean that a student can't pick specific courses that suit them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions with this, Paula?
No, I think it's clear.
Okay, awesome. I'm just going to continue then. So what can you expect when you're in the classrooms at ILAC? We really prioritize like the education within the classroom. We want to make sure that every student is having all of their needs met and is being supported every step of the way. So we make sure that students have incredibly clear learning goals and success criteria within the classroom. We don't want there to be any room for misinterpretation for our students. That means that they receive descriptive feedback to help them meet those learning outcomes. There's multiple opportunities for students to demonstrate their learning outcomes in different ways, because no two students are alike. And then we also really prioritize responsibility, organization, collaboration, and self-regulation skills for students, skills that they can use for the rest of their life. So while students are, hoping to graduate and get to the desired place, we want to make sure that they're developing really fundamental skills to overcome any obstacle in their life. And then we also support students of all different capacities through thoughtful accommodations tailored to each student. And then I'd love to talk about our teachers. So one of my favorite things about working at ILAC International High School is how passionate our teachers have been. Seeing how their passion in the classroom has been absolutely palpable. It's a pleasure to work with them. So we have a dedicated faculty with advanced degrees in the areas that they're teaching. We have regular faculty development meetings to ensure that our teachers are up to date on education best practices. We have free tutoring and class. Free tutoring after class in multiple subject areas. So if we notice that the student's falling behind, we set up tutoring for students. And then we also, in these tutoring sessions, have peer mentors. So these are leadership opportunities for other students to tutor other students. And these leadership opportunities are not just for only tutoring, but they're also for, we recently had a a fundraiser for students, the Terry Fox Run. It's a cancer research funding, and students had leadership opportunities there, get involved, go to other classrooms, and kind of advertise this fundraiser. We also have an upcoming food drive where students will have the opportunity to be leaders during these food drives and really push to try and get as many donations as possible. So we also have exciting, fun extracurriculars. It's not just limited to the academics. So students have free yoga sessions on site. We do field trips, such as field trips to Niagara Falls, is on the right here. We also, now this is something I'm a bit more passionate about. We went to the Legislative Assembly of Ontario for our Civics and Careers class. So you can see them there on the left in a really a building with a lot of history. So we have field trips for specific courses, so students can get a more experiential learning. We also have fun events during lunch, like the pumpkin carving, depending on the season and what's currently going on, the holidays. And then we have sporting events like soccer on the right. We also had a recent, so ILAC International High School is the official international high school for the Toronto Raptors. So this Monday, we're also going to have our students going to the Raptors and playing on court with experts there. So they'll be able to have in-court Raptors experience. And for those who don't know, this is quite a big deal for Canadians. If you were within the city during the last championship run by the Toronto Raptors, during that event, I went onto my balcony and you could hear the crowds in the city. It was just very, very lively. So any sports fans,
excuse me, this is basketball, right? Because
yes, this is basketball.
Great.
It's the only basketball international NBA basketball team within Canada.
Nice.
And then that is the end of me. I'd love for you guys to hear firsthand from one of our students named Martin. So Martin, would you mind telling everybody about your experience at ILAC? And here are some guiding questions to help you out.
Hello.
Hello,
I arrived
Martin.
here in Toronto in August. I have been here since then. I took a summer English course for 1 month. Yeah. And then I decided to stay. I like international school. I have 2 subjects per day. The subway experience is really, really short for me. I live 20 minutes away from the school. This is really common. My mates have 45 minutes. But yeah, it's enjoyable. A lot of people from different countries, a lot of cultures, a lot of different foods, languages. That's really cool. About our teachers. Our teachers are probably well known for their knowledge. They really explain, they really help us with all the doubts that we have. If we need some extra help, they give us. They don't mind, even if it's after school.
Sorry, Martin. I'm Santi here. I'm gonna guide you with the questions because reading the questions looks like too pushy for you. I'm sorry we put you on these. You are currently a student in ILAC. You are right now, I think, missing one of your classes to be in here. So thank you for joining. You are having a completely different experience with your teachers because you come from Spain, correct? So you've been there since September. So you did 1 term and you are now in your 2nd term, correct?
Yep.
And you are from a small city in the north of Spain. So I guess it's been a big difference for you to move to Toronto, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
So right now, this experience is bringing you to one of the largest cities in North America, and you are going back and forth from your home state to the activities to the school. How do you manage in the transportation? First of all, is easy, difficult? Is the same than moving in Spain?
Not really, but it's very simple. There are only 2 lines, one that goes east and west, and another that goes north and south. I just have to take personally one, north and south. And it's pretty easy. You just have to take your mobile the first times and then you go directly.
I've heard that you are a soccer player. I guess you love better Real Madrid than Milan. We have many Italians here. Real Madrid, I think, lost recently, so I'm sorry, Martin. Anyways, I know you guys are going to the Toronto Raptors next week. What are you and your teammates, friends excited about? Toronto Raptors is like Real Madrid for balancists.
I mean, I think it's a really, really exciting opportunity. Not many people get to play in the Raptors field, so yeah, we're excited about that.
That's nice. Paola, team, once we have here Martin, maybe, you know, some of the students that are willing to get more details can ask questions, something that can be very genuine. Obviously, we will give Martin a letter so the teacher doesn't
Poor
get upset.
Martin.
Yeah.
Povero, stanno intrattenendo Martin qui con noi. Thank you, Martin, for being with us. Actually, we have qualcuno di voi ha qualche domanda che vuole fare a Martin che sta studiando adesso in Toronto, a Toronto? Ecco, se avete qualche domanda potete farcela tranquillamente via chat, se non volete parlare, e se no magari facciamo noi un paio di domande che possono
I have
aiutare.
one question, Paola, that
Yes.
maybe Italian students are interested. Like Martin is from Spain, right? Spain, Italy, they both have fantastic food. When you go to Canada, obviously it's a challenge. I don't know, is Martin cooking, is trying new foods? What are you trying, Martin? Something that you never tried in Spain already?
With our mates, we go to international restaurants. I mean, the other day we went to a Georgian restaurant. The other day we went to Chinese, Japanese. I don't really like Asian food, but it's okay. New experiences.
And
Yeah, it's
anyway,
different.
anyway, Santiago, our students don't complain about the food anymore, so we are very, very happy about it. We have a question. Allora, se le attività extracurricolari sono a pagamento, sono incluse nel prezzo e come funzionano? Possiamo fare la domanda magari a entrambi i colleghi. Santiago and Ben and Martin, are the extracurricular activities included in the program, or do they have to pay extra? And how does it work? Do students sign up for the activities?
Yeah, I can help you. I can help you with that. So we have an activities department that engage with the students organizing the activities. Most of the activities that we discussed today, they are included in the package. So for instance, Martin went in the first week to the Niagara Falls and that was included. He's coming to see the Toronto Raptors and play with the trainees, and it's included. There is no extra payments for those. However, there are in the calendar some activities that if they want to join, they can also do so with extra payment. For instance, right now is winter, but when summer comes, there is a very wonderful park in Toronto called Wonderland, and we will have activities to go to Wonderland. Obviously, the ticket to enter Wonderland is something that students will need to add to their budget and get a permission from their parents to join the activity. But yeah, there are activities paid and unpaid. Most of the ones we are discussing are included, but there are some that they can also join if they co-pay the ticket.
Ottimo. Quindi ecco, avete sentito, la maggior parte delle attività sono incluse, come ad esempio la gita alle cascate del Niagara o anche l'opportunità di andare a vedere i Raptors, appunto. E Santiago faceva questo esempio di questa attività, questo Wonderland, questo evento, ecco, per cui c'è il biglietto d'ingresso, quindi uno paga il biglietto d'ingresso, ci si iscrive all'attività in base appunto ai propri interessi. Chiederei la stessa domanda a Colin. Colin, are the extracurricular activities that Saanich School District offers to students included in the program, or do they have to pay entrance ticket, or how does it work? Do they have to sign up for them?
Are you referring to the activities program that I highlighted?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, most of those have an additional cost to the published prices. They vary per year. There are a couple that are free, that are the in-district ones, the school dances, orientation. It ranges from, I think the most expensive is, I forgot to mention it, we go to the Yukon to see the Northern Lights, and that would be the most expensive. I think it's about $1,600 or $1,700. To the cheapest being about $150 for the day of whale watching. So that's the range. But yes, there is an additional cost for almost each.
Okay. So students are given like a list, so they have an idea of what's going on, and they can decide what to do and if to enroll or not.
Yeah. So at orientation, they receive the full list for the year, and the registration opens at a specific time. And it's announced in their Google Classroom that they join in the first week of school or just prior to. So they have to be really watching the announcements. Our Whistler trip sold out in 7 minutes. So usually we release it at lunchtime. There's a frenzy in each of the high schools at 11:30 each day. So they have to really watch. We give a week's notice, so mom and dad have released the amount of money that they need into their accounts or their sidekick card or whatever they're using for funds. So that's usually the process. There is always an allocated amount of seats for the student population in each school, so we make sure it's balanced. And then finally, when there are those really popular trips like Whistler and the Yukon and Tofino, we usually do a expression of interest form. So we can then look at the student list and review their attendance and their academics and ensure that this trip, which is a privilege, not a right, is adhering to their work ethic and their academic standing. So a message to all of you is make sure you're attending class, and those additional opportunities become certainly available.
Ok, so if you don't study, you don't go and have fun. Ok, quindi traducendo brevemente, nel caso di Saanich, durante l'orientamento vi verranno date le indicazioni delle gite extra e dei relativi costi, che sono variabili in base alla gita. Ci diceva Colin che danno gli annunci via Google Classroom di quando aprono le iscrizioni, e faceva ad esempio della gita di Whistler, che è stata, i posti sono evaporati in 7 minuti, un pochino come il concerto degli Imagine Dragons di Padova, che sono evaporati veramente in pochi minuti. E un'altra cosa diceva, quando ci sono appunto le gite più importanti, con posti limitati, eccetera, si guarda anche al fatto che i ragazzi siano andati in classe, abbiano avuto una buona presenza a scuola, perché è giusto dare l'occasione di divertirsi anche nel momento in cui hai dato a scuola, insomma, quindi questo. Qualche altra domanda per i nostri colleghi? Any other question? Ok, io direi che andiamo, Linda, direttamente alla parte. Ok, questo l'abbiamo visto. Ok, qualche altra domanda? Siamo qua. Lascerei a questo punto la parola a Caterina per quanto riguarda i nostri requisiti d'ingresso. Thank you. I leave the word to Caterina. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Martin, for being with us. And you can go back to class, so we don't want to receive a letter from your teacher saying it's your fault that Martin was in class. So thank you again, and I leave you with Caterina.
Thanks
No worries.
again,
Bye-bye.
Martin. Ok, allora, diciamo i requisiti d'ingresso per poter entrare in Canada. Allora, anzitutto compilare l'application form in inglese. Cos'è l'application form? È, diciamo, la domanda di ammissione alla scuola estera, quindi sarà una sorta di dossier che i nostri ragazzi sono tenuti a scrivere in inglese. Vi verrà chiesto magari di allegare le pagelle, mettere qualche foto descrittiva. Vi seguiremo passo passo anche su questa. Per quanto riguarda i requisiti di ingresso nel paese, come anticipato, il visto di ingresso, lo study permit, è richiesto solo per i soggiorni superiori ai 6 mesi, mentre tutti i ragazzi che desiderano partire per un term o un semestre non hanno bisogno del visto di ingresso, ma semplicemente del modulo ETA compilabile interamente online. È previsto poi un percorso di accettazione al programma da parte di Obiettivo Lingua. Più tardi vi spiego come funziona il percorso di conoscenza e selezione e infine per i minori che si recano in Canada è richiesta la compilazione della custodianship con autentica di firma dal notaio. Prima avrete sentito che i colleghi hanno accennato a questa custodianship, anche Colin diceva che è lui insomma il custode dei ragazzi che si recano a Saanich. Cos'è la custodianship? Semplicemente i ragazzi vengono, tra virgolette, affidati a una persona fisica, ok, in Canada, che non è che si prende la responsabilità ovviamente dei genitori, ma ha la facoltà, diciamo, di prendere delle decisioni qualora ce ne fosse bisogno, sempre ovviamente contattando. I genitori vengono sempre contattati, ovviamente, qualunque cosa succeda. Ecco, è necessario per tutti i minori che si recano in Canada. Anche su questo vi daremo poi ulteriori spiegazioni. Per quanto riguarda invece il lavoro con noi, come funziona? Allora, sono aperti colloqui di selezione, qualcuno dei ragazzi qui presente ha già fatto questo percorso. Per tutti gli altri che fossero interessati a partire con il programma iSchool, ecco, è previsto un colloquio di selezione individuale studenti e genitori. Quindi il primo colloquio può essere effettuato in presenza oppure online, come preferite, in base a dove abitate. Richiediamo sempre la presenza di almeno uno dei due genitori e il ragazzo. Questi colloqui sono assolutamente gratuiti, sono senza impegno, servono a voi per conoscerci, a noi per conoscere voi e per darvi un orientamento. Dopo questo primo colloquio è previsto un secondo colloquio in lingua con lo studente. Questo si svolge online, da solo, senza genitori che ascoltano per non mettere in imbarazzo i ragazzi, ecco, quando parlano in inglese. E tra l'uno e l'altro normalmente vi chiediamo di compilare dei questionari, sempre online, anche qui sempre assolutamente gratuito e senza impegno. Alla fine di questo percorso di selezione vi viene inviata una scheda post colloquio con il risultato del percorso conoscitivo, quindi con le nostre riflessioni rispetto agli incontri che abbiamo fatto con voi. Una volta che i ragazzi sono iscritti, sono stati accettati dalla scuola estera, ci sono i laboratori pre-partenza. Queste sono le foto vere dei nostri laboratori. Allora, il primo dei due incontri si chiama La consapevolezza nello zaino, è tenuto da Chiara, che è la nostra formatrice esterna, che anzi invito anche i genitori che ancora non l'hanno fatto ad iscriversi al nostro webinar per genitori lunedì prossimo, dove potranno conoscere proprio Chiara, che è poi la persona che, diciamo, cerca di preparare un po' i ragazzi facendoli riflettere su cosa significa effettivamente partire per un tipo di esperienza come l'high school. Quindi andrà lei a lavorare, diciamo, sulle risorse, le aspettative. È uno spazio proprio per i ragazzi, noi non interveniamo. C'è invece poi un secondo, ecco, questo incontro, scusate, lo facciamo in presenza per i ragazzi che riescono ad arrivare alla nostra sede, poi invece viene svolto online per chi abita troppo lontano. L'high school istruzioni per l'uso invece è un secondo incontro che facciamo online, lì allora lo facciamo divisi un po' per destinazioni, quindi viene fatto online per tutti e quello sì è tenuto da noi tre fondamentalmente, da Paola, Linda e me, dove andremo invece a spiegarvi un pochino quali sono le regole del programma, come prendere l'aereo, diciamo un pochino più pratico. Ecco, questo è la prepartenza che offriamo a tutti i nostri ragazzi. Queste sono sempre delle foto dell'ultimo gruppetto di ragazzi che è partito. Lascio a questo punto Linda che ci racconta. Ah no, scusate, ancora. Allora, durante il soggiorno voi non sarete da soli. Ecco, queste siamo noi tre in ufficio, quindi Obiettivo Lingua non vi lascia. Noi periodicamente sentiamo i ragazzi, inviamo loro dei questionari all'incirca una volta al mese chiedendo come va e ovviamente stiamo a disposizione durante tutta l'esperienza, anche con i nostri numeri di emergenza durante i weekend. E poi c'è una figura importantissima che invece è lì con voi, si chiama Local Coordinator, non è un membro dello staff di Obiettivo Lingua, ma è un membro della scuola estera. Vi hanno un po' accennato, insomma, anche i colleghi che appunto lì avrete sempre una persona di riferimento per, diciamo, discutere di cose che riguardano la famiglia, la scuola o anche banalmente voglio iscrivermi anch'io alla gita o voglio andare a vedere i Toronto Raptors, spiegami come si fa. Ecco, importante sapere che qualunque sia la destinazione prescelta, i ragazzi lì non sono soli, ma hanno questa importante figura locale, diciamo, che li aiuta.
Prendo io la parola velocemente per illustrarvi un po' quelle che sono le nostre borse di studio. Sono offerte da Obiettivo Lingua e vengono offerte ai primi 25 studenti che si iscrivono entro il 15 dicembre. Il valore delle borse di studio è di 500 euro per chi si iscrive per l'anno o per il semestre, mentre è di 300 euro per chi decide di partire per un periodo più breve, quindi per un solo term. È possibile prenotare l'appuntamento attraverso il QR code e, come diceva prima anche Caterina, invitiamo i genitori che non fossero ancora iscritti ad aggiungersi per il webinar per i genitori che si terrà lunedì alle ore 17.
C'è qualche altra domanda? Qualcuno che era timido prima e adesso invece, oppure qualcuno a cui è venuto in mente qualcosa che non ha voluto chiedere prima? No, ok. Sapete che eventualmente vi venisse in mente qualcosa, chiaramente potete scriverci. Questi sono i nostri contatti. Questa è una foto dello staff, manca ancora qualcuno a questa foto. Noi, come dicevo, siamo a Spinea, in provincia di Venezia. Questo è il nostro numero di telefono. Selezionando l'interno 6 rispondiamo direttamente noi tre, ok? Per parlare direttamente con l'high school. Queste sono le nostre email, quindi paola@obiettivolingua.it, caterina@obiettivolingua.it o linda@obiettivolingua.it oppure quella generica info@obiettivolingua.it viene comunque poi indirizzata a noi quando si tratta di domanda che riguarda l'high school. Potete, come dicevamo, prendere appuntamento con noi in presenza oppure online. Mi appare una domanda, adesso ci arrivo. Allora, sì, interrompiamo un attimo perché qualcuno ci chiede a Toronto le famiglie quanto distano dalla scuola. Ok, I don't know who does want to reply to this question,
Yes,
Santiago or
I can
okay,
reply to this question. Yeah.
okay.
So Toronto, it's a very big city, even though it has only two subway lines, and most people live in what we call the suburbs. Suburbs are usually in distance very close, but through public transportation takes between 30 to 45 minutes to move. When you come from Spain or Italy, that looks like a long time sometimes. It is not, because usually you take one subway that brings you to one station, and then in that station you just switch to a bus that brings you directly in front of the door of the homestay. So usually, because of that change in between the subway line and the bus, it takes around 40 minutes in average.
Thanks Santiago. Spero che sia stata una risposta, vi abbia insomma esaurito la richiesta. Come vi accennavamo prima, nei prossimi giorni riceverete poi la registrazione di questo webinar, così avrete modo di rivederla. Vi venissero in mente altre domande, chiaramente siamo a disposizione per rispondere. Grazie a tutti per aver partecipato e ci salutiamo.
Grazie.
Ok? Thanks Colin, thanks Santiago.
Bye bye.
Bye, see you.
Ciao Zoe. See you
See
soon.
you.